And this is where we're gonna go over some of my favorite features from this theme. So let's start with my name is Maestro Stevens with Iconic Templates. And in this video, I wanna share with you some of my favorite features from the Kadence free theme. So let's get right in it. Right now I'm on the Kadence website and I'm on the Kadence theme page. And this is where you would go if you are new to Kadence in order to look at a little bit more information about the Kadence theme outside of the Kadence community or YouTube or Google or any other places. This is where you want to go to get a little bit of information if you are just getting started. So with Kadence, they are real big on performance and accessibility. And I love that because accessibility has definitely become a topic of discussion these days. In reference to the header builder, we'll get to that here in a second, but they have that as one of the prominent features. And yes, I love the header builder feature. So we have typography, layouts, colors, and buttons, just to show you some things as I scroll to the actual theme features section. And this is where we're gonna go over some of my favorite features from this theme. So let's start with the header builder, as I just mentioned before. This is a very intuitive header builder, and I think that it is underrated in many cases. So let me show you what that looks like. First, I want you to see that I do have the Kadence theme activated, and you can get that directly here from WordPress within the WordPress repo. If you click on themes or you go to add new theme, you can find Kadence theme. It's literally right at the top, at least at the recording of this video. So now I'm in the customizer of WordPress. This is the traditional customizer and not the one that you will find in full site editing. So just keep that in mind. If you are using a block-based theme or you are doing full site editing, you won't see this feature. Now, when it comes to the header builder, we're gonna hover over header and click it here, and you'll see that the header builder has a few different options here. We have this menu, this sidebar menu here, and then we also have this footer area as well. What I love about the header builder is it's drag and drop. I've seen a lot of header builders before in other themes, even website platforms, and they're not so easy to create, to be able to maneuver things, especially for those who are just beginners. So with the drag and drop feature, I really like this feature because you can easily just grab something like this logo, for instance, and then move it over to another column or another section. So you see, when I move this logo, it also moved up here at the top. That's the power of drag and drop when you're using a header builder. People think of drag and drop when they are building out the page, but do you think about that when you are building out your header? So once again, I can move this over here. I can move this over here, put this in the middle if I wanted my primary navigation to be there. What's also cool about this is we have available items as well. So these are the items that come default with the Kadence free theme. And if I drag, for instance, this button, I'm going to put this right here on the side. Notice how we have a button here next to our logo. Now, this is not necessarily what you would want to do or how you want to build a header, but this is just for demo purposes. So that's why I like the drag and drop feature, because you can easily just grab and move as you please. The second feature that I love with the Kadence theme is the footer builder. And it's pretty much the same concept as the header builder, where as you go, click on the footer here in the customizer. And then as you can see, we have pretty much the same layout. I can easily drag, let's say, this widget over here and move this down here. I can drag this social over here, put it over here. I can add another widget if I wanted to, or footer navigation. Now, the reason why you're not seeing the social or copyright is because I haven't filled these items out. What's cool is when it comes to the header and the footer, you can click on this gear icon. And now if I were to add some socials, they would then add to my social area here. So that's something that's really, really neat. All you have to do is click this gear icon and notice on the left side, the menu options change. Now here's something to keep in mind going into some of the responsiveness when it comes to building out your header and footer. One thing that I noticed, and it's something that I'm sure was done intentionally, but I just want you to be aware of it, is that, for instance, when you are in the header area here, you'll notice that you have these tabs, desktop and tablet view. And when you click on the tab, it switches to that view, but also you see some different options here. That's something to keep in mind, because if you go to the footer, you won't see the same options available. You will see down here icons for desktop, tablet, and mobile. And yes, as you can see, it does respond visually to me clicking the icon, but it's just not the same editing or updating experience. So just keep that in mind. Now, my next favorite feature, and I think I just mentioned a little bit of it before, is when it comes to layouts. So for layouts, let's go back to posts and pages layout here. And then we're going to click on page layout, for example. So this is where you would actually be able to change your layouts directly for the theme. Now, the cool part is that you can adjust layouts page by page or post by post. But if you want to have default layouts or change layouts for the theme or globally, this is the area where you want to do it. So as you can see, we have a lot of options here to change the layout of this page. If I click on any one of these, it's going to adjust to that. See how that is? Very simple. I really love this feature because it takes out the coding or takes out the advanced knowledge that I would need in order to have a customized layout while just using, let's say, the default WordPress options and features. It would take a lot longer for me to try to create these layouts. So that's why the Kadence theme is very powerful in this particular case. You get the same options when it comes to single post layout and archive layout as well. Now, nothing is going to adjust or change if I move it here. That's because you're looking at a page, not a post. So if you change something in here and you are viewing something that's different than what you're changing, you will not see the updates. So keep that in mind as well too. Now, I did mention being able to also change the layout directly on the page itself. So let me show you what that looks like. So this is the same sample page that we were looking at in the customizer. And if I go to this button here that says page settings and I click the button, you can see I have page layout. Right here is where I can actually adjust the layout directly on the page. So as I just mentioned, you have the options, you have the opportunity to adjust the layout directly in the customizer, or you can adjust the layout page per page. I would suggest that you start off with adjusting your layouts in the customizer, and then as you need to, start adjusting the layout if you really need to, page by page. But for the most part, you want your pages and your posts, you want your website to have some type of consistency, some continuity. So you don't want all these different layouts on random occasions. You want to have a reason. You want to have some type of pattern or organization or a theme of why you're changing the layout based on the page type or the circumstance. Then when it comes to global color palettes, let's look at our customizer here. I'm going to go back and I'm going to click on colors and fonts. And then you will see colors. I'm going to click on colors. And here is the global palette along with other features and options when it comes to your colors. This is a great feature when it comes to Kadence. And I promise you, you're not going to find this in all types of themes. You're not going to find this in most themes that I know of that are highly versatile, that are tried and true, and have a great team backing them. So just keep that in mind. You will find global palette in a lot of themes, but keep those other factors that I mentioned in mind. Now with the global color palette, you get 3, which is pretty cool because say you want to change something for a holiday special or a season.
We just having a little Christmas party tonight. Why don't you and your lady come on through, man? Hang out with us and our folks.
Let me check my Palm Pilot. Look like I ain't do. I was just gonna get drunk and watch the Grinch, so I'll be there.
Or just for momentarily, a temporary reason of change. Well, instead of having to dial in all these other colors, you can say, hey, this is our main color palette, and then this is our secondary color palette, and this is our special color palette for whatever reason. Or when you want to do some testing. Now, if you want to learn how to use this color palette, they have a link right here that you can click, and this is underrated and undervalued. If you are using Kadence and you are confused with the color palette, use this. I'm telling you, it changes the whole perspective for you when it comes to how these colors are supposed to be used. So use this blog post right here, these directions on how to use their color palette, because they literally tell you right here, and they also give you examples of what that would look like. For instance, you have palette 1, and then you also have palette 2. And you can just switch between the palettes with a clickable button. Now, it just doesn't stop there. There's more. When it comes to the color palette, What I like about Kadence's global palette is that these colors here are synced to other parts of your website. If you are using Kadence blocks, for instance, the colors themselves, and I'm going to show you here in a second, you're able to link these colors directly to this palette. So anytime you change the colors here, it'll change the colors in other areas that you linked to this color palette. For instance, if I go to this page, the sample page here, and I have transformed a normal WordPress text block into a Kadence block. That's something I also love when it comes to WordPress and just things in general, is the easy, quick, oh, okay, I see a text block here. This is just a normal WordPress text block. I'm going to click my overview. It's called document overview. And you can see this is the paragraph. So I clicked on the paragraph here. This is the normal WordPress default block, or a core block is what we call it. And I can click on this paragraph icon. And if I wanted to, I can easily just change this to a Kadence block, just like that. Isn't that cool? So that's something that I really like about WordPress. Just a little quick tip. I know that's not what this video is about, but hey, I'm gonna give you a little bit of these nuggets while we in it. You feel me? Now, let's go back. Let me close this and let me click out of here. And now you can see that this text here is the color blue. And there is a world icon, almost like a soccer ball in a way, right? Don't it look like a soccer ball? So it's a world or a soccer ball or football in some countries. Hey. That we are using here. And so you know that this is linked to this color here. So if I go and change this color, I'm just going to change to some random color. Let's change to this color here. And I click publish. And then I'm going to refresh this page. And let's turn this block back into a Kadence block and see what happens. So now you can see the color has changed to the global color here, the one that I've chosen here. So that's a really great feature. So yeah, that's what I like about the Kadence global color palette, is it gives you the ability to dial in your color theme, your palette, your color scheme, however you want to say it. And you can use that in order to add to the other parts of your website. But if you end up changing a color or two, or your entire color scheme, your entire color palette, you don't have to go in and manually change things in your website. It will automatically change for you, unless you have not linked the colors to your global color palette. And that's a different story for different reasons, but there are use cases for that as well. You don't always want to link certain colors to your color palette. There are reasons why you don't want to do so. So that's the Kadence global color palette for you. So let's talk about global typography. This is another great feature when it comes to the Kadence free theme. So with the typography, what I love about the typography is the fact that with the global color palette settings, you can integrate the two. As you can see here, there's a world icon that is showing us that we are linking to a color. So we are linking to a specific color in our color palette directly here in the typography, right in the customizer. And then when you want to select fonts from the Google font library directly here within Kadence, you can click this button that says System Default. And now you will be able to see so many choices of different fonts. So let's just say I select a random choice, Advent Pro. So I change to Advent Pro, and as you can see, my site just changed live right there. I didn't even have to save anything. I didn't have to click anything else. I just changed right here by just clicking a font to be able to see what the font looks like. And that's something that I really like. Same thing with style. So you can choose your style if there is some style that goes with it, and your sizing as well too. You click this button here, you click this button here, and you click this button here. It's the same thing as if you're clicking these secondary tabs. Just another way of getting to it. And then clicking this button gives you a preview of what the font looks like, the one that you chose. But as you can see, I can already see a preview here live on the site itself. And then we have our headings as well too. So as we can see, we have our H1 or H2 or H3. I was watching a podcast from Content Marketing Institute. I think it's Institute. And Rand Fishkin was on it. I'm sure some of you guys know Rand Fishkin. He used to work at Moz, big SEO guy. And he was talking about the leak, the Google SEO documents leak, like all the things that got leaked. And what they found was that most people thought that Google cared a lot about your heading tags. and Google really doesn't. It cares about other factors that impact your SEO scores, but not the heading tags. What I believe is these are more attributed to accessibility and like screen readers and things in that nature when it comes to that. So being compliant, not necessarily SEO. So it's just something to think about and keep in mind. Again, I'm learning as I go, and I'm going to share with you all what I learned. I hope somebody can look this up and add in the comments. Is this true? Is this not true? But I just found this out. I looked it up. It verified to me, but we can't always believe what we see on Google or other search engines. So let's just talk about it together. The next favorite feature of mine for the Kadence free theme is global button settings. So with the global button settings, it is very similar to the global colors and the global typography. So if we go back here in the customizer and I click on buttons, as you can see here, we have something that looks familiar. We see some colors and we see the world, or we see a soccer ball or the football. We see something, we see an icon here, right? And this icon indicates that we are linking. We are linking. And what's great is, just like the typography, we can link directly to the colors. So I love that feature in Kadence when it comes to the global color palette, because it integrates into other features in Kadence, such as the buttons. So with this button here, we have text color, we have background colors, we have our border radius, our fonts, paddings, shadows, hover settings. You get all the settings that you would need to really customize buttons directly here. And then you get even more settings inside of the page itself. So that's what I like about the Kadence button is, for instance, if I go here, let's type in button, I click on advanced button, and we get even more settings if you're using Kadence blocks. I know this is about Kadence theme, but if you're using Kadence blocks, you would get even more settings when it comes to your buttons. However, it's great when they are paired together. So just keep that in mind. My next favorite feature of the Kadence theme is going to be CSS Pre-loading. And this is something that is so simple. You either use it or you don't. I would advise most people use it if they don't have another plugin or they don't have another capability of accessing this feature, because Kadence is giving it to you for free. So for instance, if I go here to the customizer and I go back and I click on general and I click on performance, as you can see here, all I have to do is toggle this on, and now I have my CSS preload enabled. That's simple. If you are using another dedicated optimization tool or something else that has this feature inside of that tool and you have it turned on, you do not want this turned on. You want to turn this off. So choose which one you want turned on. What we found is that sometimes it is worth it more to use the feature directly from the Kadence theme and not the optimization plugin itself. That is something that I know a lot of people have different opinions on, but it's something I learned based on testing, that not all optimization features are created equally. Just because you see the same feature in different tools, it doesn't mean both tools use that feature in the same way. So just keep that in mind. There are some other features here that have come a long way since I first started using Kadence, and they continue to improve. I mean, this is proof that they continue to improve and add performance features, because some of these features they did not have before. So I'll make another video another day for more advanced features of the Kadence theme and the Kadence Theme Pro. But for now, this enables CSS preload for most people that don't have another option. This is what you want to click. Then we're gonna go back a little bit. We're gonna go backwards because I didn't mention the transparent and the sticky header while I was talking about the header. That was my original plan, but hey, plans change.
There's been a change of plan.
So when it comes to the transparent header and the sticky header, we're going to talk about them together. Let me go back to the customizer. I'm going to click on header, and then you can see down here, they're right next to each other. Transparent header, sticky header. All you have to do is click on either one and enable it. And then you will start to see other options that will help you adjust that particular type of header. So whether it's the transparent header or it's the sticky header, once you enable it, you'll start to have more abilities to start to use it. So say for sticky header, I want yes. As you can see, now I got more options. What's cool about the sticky header is you can choose what row you want it on. All these are rows. So we have the main row, we have the top row, and we have the bottom row. You can choose which part of the row you want it to start sticking. And then we have enable main row shrinking. So, I mean, this is pretty cool that you get this feature for free in the Kadence theme. And then we have sticky header for mobile. It's just little things like this that people don't think about or utilize when building out their website that gives a better user experience. So when it comes to transparent header, same thing. If I toggle this on, you can disable on certain pages, you can disable on certain posts, and you can choose what to enable it for, desktop or mobile. And the last few things are very small. I would not say that breadcrumbs is something I see most people using that aren't doing blog posts or don't have custom post types. SEO optimized, I mean, that's just what's great out the box when it comes to Kadence, is that it's SEO optimized. For instance, I did a quick performance test using Google's PageSpeed Insights, and I just tested the same sample page we've been looking at, and it got up 100, as you can see here. I mean, Kadence itself, the theme is right out the box performance ready. You just have to do a few things, and as you add more things, the score will change. Your score will change based on your hosting, based on the blocks you're using, based on plugins you're using. It will change. But at least you know at the base level, before you start stacking on everything else on top of that cake, before you start stacking everything else, the recipe, the base recipe that you have, it's already baked for you. So you just throwing other flavors and other things on top of that to really make your souffle, to really make your dish, to really make your cake, whatever it is that you cooking up. But from the beginning, you starting off on solid foundation. We don't want to build our house on sand. It's just that simple. So yeah, that's it. Those are some of my favorite features from the Kadence free theme. You can always go to kadencewp.com to get the theme. You can go to the WordPress repo. I think you can go to wordpress.org, or you can go directly in the WordPress repository within your WordPress backend or your admin area. My name is Maestro Stevens with Iconic Templates, and I'm out. Peace.